right, day 3, we're back in action. I want to give a shout out to my Mahindra dealer and service, Chenango Supply in Punta Gorda. They got me taken care of first thing in the morning so we could get back out here on the job site as soon as we could. So I really appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. I also want to give a shout out to Farmer's Armor for these arm sleeves. These are helping me out with the sun, and I'm definitely enjoying wearing them. So thank you guys for that too. All right, let's see what we're working on here. All right, so most of the way through day 3, and you can start to see what we're working with here. We're putting in the mulch extremely thick because we have extremely aggressive grass. Most of the main species have been planted in. I just brought in my truck with the water tank. We're going to start watering these before the end of the day. We've got the last of the pits done. All the mounds are made. The guys are planting the rest of the trees. We've got the top dressing here to be raked around. And we're going to be filling up all these banana pits and continuing much like the pattern over here. One of the challenges of using very thick mulch is that it's very difficult to plant into the mulch. So I know that I've used a lot of mulch in the past, and I think people get the impression that I'm planting in the mulch. That's not the case. I'm planting in the native soil and I'm mulching heavily around it. I'm not planting in the mulch. When you plant in the mulch, not everything, but most things will not do well just planted in straight up mulch. For a number of reasons. One of them is that the mulch is too loose. There's too much air. It's not stable. Like for a tree to be able to establish roots into just wood chip mulch it's just not an ideal situation. There are plants that'll put up with that, but generally you want to put the plant at least partially in the native soil and then top dress around it and then mulch really heavily on top. So what we've done here, because it's difficult to plant in the deep mulch, and because we have so much grass, there's latent grass, roots and whatnot all through here. So what I did, you'll see these kind of like bare sandy spots. What we did is actually laid cardboard right on the ground, and then we went way down there. There's a big pile of old fill material from I guess there was a previous project on this site. And we actually went over there and scooped clean material out of that pile and placed it on top of the cardboard with the intent of planting like a little consortium of service plants on these little secondary mounds. And then as you can see, we've piled up tall mulch piles all around it so that when we go to plant, we can just rake the mulch into place. So we're not having to run over the plantings that we've already done. So the whole idea is to understand the workflow of what you're doing, so you're not having to drive over areas that you've already planted. You're not having to double work or move material more than once. And you want to make sure that the plants are actually planted in the dirt. So with what I said, there's going to be a cardboard layer on the surface and then about 6 to 8, maybe a little bit deeper inch pile of sand. And in this case, you can see that needs to be raked flat that we're going to plant into. That should be enough for the service plants. And what we'll actually do when we plant it is I'll actually poke a couple holes through the cardboard to make sure that water can drain through, and hopefully the roots of the support species can drive their way into the ground and link up into the existing native soil. The reason we're using the cardboard is because we want to reduce the amount of grass that can come up. So it's kind of a balancing act, trying to reduce the grass that comes up, but also trying to plant a halfway diverse system. You could just do a very, very deep mulch orchard type system. That people do that all the time. I think it's a great way to build up soil around your fruit trees, but I think you're missing an element if you do that. You're missing all those supporting species that could be there that create a little bit of wind buffer, a little bit of shade, fix a little bit more nitrogen into the soil. You're missing out on that if you're just doing fruit trees and mulch. So to each their own. You guys out there do whatever you want, but in this case, we're doing a full food forest, and the food forest has many layers and it has many functions, and we're stacking all the functions in here as we can. We're trying to grow soil or build soil so we can grow our own food. We're trying to develop a low maintenance system that retains moisture at the soil surface, feeds all the microbes feed the root systems of these plants, the plants feed the humans that take care of it. So we're part of the ecosystem here. We are using a waste product and turning it into really soil. We're taking something that the rest of society views it as a waste product, and we're making it into something pretty special. So here's one of the areas that we planted a few months ago, and you can see, you know, everything's jumping up. It looks, I mean, I'm happy with what we're seeing here. We've got some natives through here. You know, all the support species have popped up. The fruit trees are all looking healthy. And I'm gonna get back on the tractor and move mulch. We've got quite a bit more work to do, but just wanted to give a little as we go view of it. End of the day. It is way too hot today. Hopefully we get some rain. It looks like there's rain in the future coming for us. Something beautiful out there. So we got all the main trees in the ground. We've just put the compost side dress or top dress around everything, and then what you see here is the fresh mulch. We just put 3 scoops on each. For now, we're not raking it out yet because we have more work to do. We just wanted to have it here, and we're watering everything in so that, you know, the ground doesn't get too hot in the sun, because that fresh top dress is black. It heats up in the sun pretty hot, so we like to cover it up with mulch right away. We've got a lot of the mulching done over here on this side, and tomorrow we're going to come back and start filling in all the way through here with mulch. One thing holding us back is that we did run out of compost, and I ordered more, but it's not going to be here till Monday, so we're going to have to leave some empty spots, pile the mulch up right next to them, so when we get the compost we can put a nice fat scoop on top of each of these bananas to get them started really well, and then we'll move the mulch back on top of that once we get it here. So tomorrow probably fill this up. That'll be our day 4, and then we're going to take Friday off and come back on Monday when we have our compost, so we can finish up with the bananas and do our touch up. That's it for today. Shout out to my boy David. Been putting in a lot of work today, doing a great job. And Quentin, he already left, but I'm really happy to have these guys and get it done. We'll see ya.